Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live show. A little bit later than usual, but this is the lead up to the Liverpool game and a little bit of a catch up on the things that have been happening in the transfer window for Arsenal. So make sure you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the channel, getting into the chat, letting me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about what we're going to talk about. I am so jealous that I am not in Philadelphia right now getting ready to watch the Arsenal. I was totally spoiled over the last week being able to go to Carson and watch us play at Dignity Health Sports Stadium as well as SoFi Stadium. So I am jealous, but I am happy that we're getting the opportunity to at least watch the game. Now, the starting lineup has come out, so I do want to go ahead and go through that. But before we go through that, please make sure that if you guys want to actually watch the game together, we're going to hop over to TIFO immediately following this live stream in about 30 minutes or so. The watch along link is here. You guys can copy and paste it. It's also pinned to the chat. And all you have to do is use code Jessica, Jessica, to join. I already see there are a couple of people in the watch along chat. So that's already warming up. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure that you, again, click that link, copy and paste it, use code Jessica to join, and then we'll just hop straight over there right after this live stream. So let's go ahead and look at the lineup for the game. Because I think it's interesting. Let's see. Let me just pull it up here, and then I'll share my screen. There it is. Okay, you guys should be able to see it. Let me check. Okay. So Hine in goal, which makes sense because neither Ramsdale or Raya have arrived back at with the team. White continues at right back. Kivior and Gabriel are the center back pairing, and Zinchenko. So I don't know if it was Kaya or not, but one of the Arsenal journalists were saying that Calafiori will not be involved, which is so disappointing. So disappointing. I know I'm rushing it. But I'm disappointed that we don't get to see him, but I would just have to be a little bit patient. Timber is being rested. He's coming back from a long-term injury, so they want to rest him after playing so many minutes in the first two matches, which makes a lot of sense. So he's actually not available for this game either. So they're going with Kivior and Gabriel and Zinchenko at the back with, I think Heaven is still there. And there was another little youngin too. I think his name is Nichols too. That's been playing at the back. Miles Lewis Skelly. I imagine that he will come in at left back in the second half because he's been playing really well there. So that's my assumption. So let's see what happens. Partey starting in midfield at the base with Odegaard and Havertz. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I don't think we've actually ever seen this combo before. I think have we seen this combo before? I remember in preseason last season, it was Kai Havertz, Partey. Maybe was it Odegaard that was in there? I can't remember. It had to be, right? At SoFi, maybe we did see this combination before, but I did see quite a few people complaining about seeing Kai Havertz in midfield once again. I've said it multiple times that I don't think it's going to be the last time that we see him in midfield, but Merino coming in, I do think is going to maybe make it lesser so, that he'll play this position. So we just have to get through it during preseason. I know it's a little like, damn, I thought this was the last time that we're going to see him there. But also, Jesus is being played through the middle. And I was saying this, I think on Santi's show earlier, is that Jesus is going to be trusted to play down the center again. And so that means that there is kind of, the likelihood that Kai will play in midfield in order to facilitate that. Martinelli starts on the left, Nelson starts on the right in for Bukayo Saka. So it's a pretty strong lineup. It's not the strongest, but it's pretty strong. Gabriel coming back into the 11 definitely makes us much stronger. Odegaard is always like an ever-present. Martinelli and Jesus, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. And so we just have to see how it goes. It is preseason. So no panicking. If we win the game, it's amazing. If we don't win, who cares? It's preseason. But I do sense there's a little bit of like alarm around Havertz. I don't think we need to be that worried about it, if I'm honest. So yeah, we're going to get into the transfer bit of this in just a second, but I do want to go over this because the game is obviously going to start and not too long from now. So I just want to make sure that we get into that. There's 340 of you guys watching. I know a big chunk of you guys are watching from YouTube and the other chunk is on Twitter. Make sure you guys sign up for the watch along. If you're up now, you're going to be up for the game. And don't you want to watch it with other people? Yes, you do. Sign up for the watch along. Link is pinned. Code is Jessica. Get that done. Let's see. Jean Rene says, I'm hoping to see Kai and Jesus link up. We did see that they did have good link up last season. There was the goal against Luton, where they linked up. I think a goal in that Lens game that they linked up as well. They seem to have some sort of like connection, but the problem is that Jesus didn't play enough last season for us to really get to see it. So yeah, that's definitely going to be there. Somebody was like, it's second striker, whatever. Midfield, second striker. He's playing not up front, but he probably will play more of like that box crashy type of vibe. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I think, isn't that how we played against, maybe I don't want to say this, Villa? Yeah. So, yeah, Villa at home. I'm pretty sure that's how we played. Maybe even Villa away. We played that way as well. So, with Jesus up front and Havertz kind of like second striker or whatever. So, yeah. Yara says Havertz will still be playing in the midfield this coming season. Our targets for the midfield suggested that if you think about it. Not necessarily. I think a lot of people are confused about Merino's position. This actually leads me really nicely into the Merino conversation. Merino is not a DM. He's not a DM. He's not a DM. He's not going to be playing number 6. He is a left 8. He is a box-to-box midfielder, central midfielder. That's all he is. So I would actually say that us bringing him in actually weakens the argument that Havertz is going to be playing a significant amount of minutes in midfield, because you're not going to spend 30 million, euros on Merino, who is the perfect player to play at left center mid to leave Kai Havertz there. So I think Merino coming in actually means that Kai will play in midfield less. What does that mean for the striker position? I don't know, but let's see how it plans out. Let's see. So Merino, let's talk about that. Because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but I think it was Matteo. I don't know what his name is, y'all. But he actually, he broke the news 2 hours ago. Matteo Moretto. I don't know why that was so difficult. So I actually go to his account first because it was his exclusive, and we'll just translate the post, that Arsenal is one step away from Mikel Merino. In the last few hours, the English club has presented a verbal offer of 30 million euros plus bonuses, and the agreement with Real Sociedad is close. Mikel Merino has already said yes to the Gunners. So we were talking about that yesterday, that Arsenal had pretty much gotten it to the point where he was desperate to come to Arsenal and Arsenal only, which gives Arsenal good negotiating, power and the ability to slow things down. Now, Real Sociedad have also identified a replacement. I think his name is Carlos Soler. Funnily enough, we've been linked to Carlos Soler multiple times under Mikel Arteta, but he is one of the players that went to PSG and isn't getting any playing time. And so they've identified him as a replacement for Mikel Merino. So 30 million euros, you guys can do the math. I'm just going to say that's like 25 million pounds. If you add the, add-ons, maybe it ends up being 30 million pounds, which is a little bit more than I think a lot of us were thinking initially. We thought it'd be closer to 20. I've seen some people say that's a lot for somebody with 1 year left on his deal. But genuinely, he's the type of player that if you did not have 1 year left on his deal, you'd be paying at least 50 million. He's that good, so it's still a steal. I know it's 1 year left on the deal, so we expected to pay less, but this is a very solid signing for Arsenal, a very solid signing. And I stand 10 toes down that although not exciting, he is somebody that is going to surprise quite a bit of Gooners. He is a very, very good player. So like Shamari is saying, it's really shrewd business. And if you can't do a major Bruno Guimaraes like signing, if you can't do something like that, then you have to still improve your squad. And this definitely improves our squad. We are backfilling a position that has been sorely forgotten. Left center mid, just getting a freaking midfielder in there. We've been playing Declan Rice, who's more like a DM in that position, and we've been playing Kai Havertz, who's damn near our striker now. So yeah, it's almost done. Junior says personal terms with Merino are agreement. The personal terms have been done. Now it's a verbal agreement with Real Sociedad, and it's pretty much almost done. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a here we go for that tomorrow. Um, and that's the thing. It's somebody goes and things expedite from there. And, one thing I have to give, Arteta, mostly Edu credit for is, the sales. I think the sales have been much better and quicker this summer, but also that, we seem to have a really good rhythm. Get one out, and then, while we're trying to get that person out, do personal terms, get that all lined up, and then you can deal with the club and then get the deal finalized with the incoming. And that's pretty much what happens, which is also why I feel like people shouldn't be panicking about the attacker, because we have not sold Reece Nelson or Nketiah yet. And I would imagine that once one of them is sold, the attacker will be expedited. We'll start to see who the person is, personal terms, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not really that worried about it. Philip says, I'm excited. Our pressing and aerial ability are going to be 2 steps up next season. Scary. I mean, really, when you think about it, somebody was saying this and I was like, Arteta is a sick man. You can tell he's been watching a lot of basketball, because if you have, let's just say you have Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Declan, Moreno, and Kai Havertz in your team, you have 7 guys that are over 6 foot tall. Over 6 foot tall? Are you serious? 7 of your outfield players. There's only 10. That would leave Odegaard's short ass, Saka's small ass, and Martinelli's little ass too. And everybody else is big. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna be playing fucking post-up basketball and shit, trying to like do big man in the paint type stuff. But listen, as much as, I know we're used to tiki-taka small midfielders in the Emirates era, I'm actually really excited to see how we develop this team further under Mikel Arteta, because I think there were a lot of assumptions made that he was just going to do what Pep's doing. He's just going to do what Pep's doing. I'm sorry, I'm seeing less and less similarities between Mikel and Pep as things go on. Yeah, he inverts, but everybody fucking inverts. Klopp inverted. Ten Hag's bald ass is trying to invert now. Everybody inverts. That is not like synonymous with Pep. Everybody fucking inverts. Just because he did that and he had a couple of Man City players in his team doesn't mean that Mikel is like literally following the blueprint. I'm sorry, this is different than what Pep is trying to do. And I want to see. I want to see. I want to see. I'm excited. So yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Mikey says the invincible DNA. Tawana says, Zinni living on a prayer. Yes, I will be there at the watch along to see him against Salah. Now, why are you wishing bad, Tawana? Tawana, why can't you think positive? Maybe Salah's not up to speed. He's definitely up to speed. It's definitely a long night for Zinchenko, that's for sure. So yeah. And Jean Rene said Fabrizio did say, don't expect the here we go tomorrow, but I do believe it's close. Maybe in a week or we hear more. Okay, so don't expect it tomorrow, but soon. Philip says I'm excited. Oh yeah, I read that one already. I read that one already. Yara saying mess signing, but an actual midfielder will do wonders for us. I just hope we go big in the summer of 25 for an actual elite midfielder. This team deserves elite talent to actually dominate on all fronts. And I agree with you. I think, you know, I wouldn't say mess signing. I would just say it's not a marquee signing or the marquee signing that, we were expecting. But I agree with like everything that you're saying in terms of hopefully in 2025, we do address that. An elite midfielder needs to come in, but realistically, with Thomas Partey and Jorginho in that sixth position, we really don't have, I don't think we have the bandwidth to go out there and make that purchase just yet. And so we'll see what 2025 is for us. I hope it's the summer of the striker and the elite midfielder. I would love it to be that. So let's see. And there's still time left in the window to maybe get a really good attacker. I'm not, um, too low on that just yet. I actually think it's going to happen. It just may need some players to go first. So yeah, the Arsenal perspective says, who's co-signing Kroenke's? Get excited. Listen, I am excited. I actually feel a lot better going into this season than last season. Last season, it was just too much of an emotional roller coaster coming off of, not winning the league, I think. And then Declan Rice signing was massive. And then, we signed Kai Havertz, which was strange. And we didn't really get an attacker and so the stress level was like on 100, and then we were playing really poorly in preseason too, or I felt like we were playing poorly in preseason. This summer I feel a lot more at peace, like a lot more at peace. I'm like, it's fine. Like it's good to go. Like there's nothing to freak out about. Guys, don't forget in about 15 minutes, we're going to head on over to TIFO. The link is pinned. I also put the link in the chat a couple of times. I'll put it in again for those of you guys just joining. That is the link to the watch along for the Liverpool game. We're going to all be watching it together. And I love preseason games because it's very low maintenance, low effort. We can just freaking get excited about Nweri. Or somebody told me it's not Nweri, it's Waneri. So my pronunciation of Ethan's name was incorrect. So I want to get that right. Waneri. So getting excited about Waneri, getting excited about Miles Lewis Skelly. That's what this is about. So yeah. Boy says, I told you why we don't develop our own kids always. I always say, look forward to the kids. Tawana, you guys talking to each other, which I love. Saida says, I'm really praying someone comes in for Partey at a good price. My gut feeling tells me he won't have a good season. What is it? Is it the lack of movement in the legs? Is it the inability to trap a ball? Is it, him running around with his knees bent? What is it? Because, yeah, he's been looking really old lately, but he takes a long time to get up to speed. Even when he was younger, he took a long time to get up to speed. So, got to give him time, but Arteta starting him today, I do think he is going to want to start with the Partey Declan Rice midfield. I feel like that's what we're going to start off with, and then ease Merino in, ease those players in. Idealistically, I do feel like we start the season with what we ended the season with, because that's what's most like known to us. The beginning of last season was too much change, and I would be very happy to start this coming season with Declan, Partey, and Odegaard, if Partey up to speed and all that kind of stuff. Kai, Saka, unless we get a winger, as close to what we did last season to start, just so we're not doing too much, because doing too much was, we were doing the absolute most at the beginning of last season. And I think it cost us, honestly. Let's check the timeline really quick. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see what people are saying. Probably nothing, but let's see. Oh, Real Madrid. They're starting 11. Endrick. That kid is hilarious. That kid is hilarious. Oh, look at Declan. I missed the face. I missed it bad, man. I can't wait for him to come back. But yeah, exciting times. So Yeah, last but not least, I do want to talk about Nketiah, um, and a little bit about Reese Nelson as well. So let's start off with Nketiah. So basically, Marseille did to us what we do to everybody else, which is agree personal terms with the player, and then make it really difficult for us to ask for more money. And so apparently they made it like really known that they weren't going to be able to pay the high fee um that we wanted. And so I think at first they wanted to do like a loan with, and here's why I do actually believe that we're going to get an attacker, because a couple of days ago, the first thing that had come out about the Nketiah deal was that they wanted to do a loan with an obligation. And Arsenal didn't want that. And I think the reason for that is because whatever they want to be able to use the funds now. And so maybe they're willing to accept a little bit less that you're going to get now than accepting a little bit more that you're going to get next summer when or down the line, because we want to get somebody in now, especially just in case if we can't sell Reese Nelson or whatever, because selling Reese Nelson is looking a lot harder than it did in the beginning. So yeah, I do think that going from the loan with the obligation to a straight sale with a little bit less money is probably going to be what we end up doing. Now they're saying that they came in with the next improved bid, and it's closer to like 17 million pounds, but we're still in negotiations. I know people are panicking about the 17 million, but Ornstein had said that that's probably not going to work. It's going to be like, basically it's going to be rejected, and they're going to have to come up a little bit more. If they could come up to 23 to 25 million pounds, I think I'd be okay with that. He's our third choice striker that played no significant minutes in 2024. He played like not at all in 2024, if we're honest. So he's not really somebody that I feel like we've done a good job of keeping his value high. And so unlike Balogun, who is somebody that went out on loan and played really well on that loan and scored a lot of goals, Eddie is a harder sale, especially since Marseille have already spent 30 million on Greenwood. So he's decided that he wants to go there, and he's pushing for the move, which is, you know, it's hurting our negotiating power. And so if we could get up to 23 to 25 million, I feel like just get it done, and then use the money to get an attacker now. But that's like exactly where we're at with Nketiah. Now, with Reese Nelson, the Leicester thing is off. I think we had spoken about that yesterday. The Leicester thing is off. They can't afford him. Now, the problem that we have now is that West Ham, who is another team that was interested in him, have just spent 25 million on Somerville. And, I saw a lot of Gooners saying, I thought they didn't have enough money for Reese Nelson. Well, yeah, they don't have 15 million to spend on Reese Nelson, but they have 25 million to spend on Somerville because they deem Somerville as a better player. And that's just the reality. Reese Nelson is on 90,000 pounds per week, and he has been sitting on our shelf, rusting and collecting dust for 2 years. And so we just have to hold that. We put an okay player on high wages and didn't play him, and now he's 24. And yeah, if I'm West Ham, I want Somerville more than I want Reese Nelson. Somerville played a lot of minutes at Leeds, is up and coming, fresh, new, young, blah. Reese Nelson, people probably only want to pay about 10 million for Reese Nelson. And I don't really blame them, considering how much he's played, how good he is, how reliable he is, and what his value is. So just because you're English doesn't mean shit. So yeah, I think we're kind of in a tough spot now with Reese Nelson. Leicester are not really interested anymore. Um, West Ham have went with somebody else. And so I don't really know what's going to happen. The window's not over yet, so other teams can probably go in for him. But I think Nketiah's sale is the best chance that we have at bringing in another attacker. So yeah, it's a tough one to take right now, because I know people are like panicking, but the window is not over yet. And I said, like Troy is saying, at the beginning of the window, I said if we got 8 to 10 million for Reese Nelson, I take that, because genuinely, I do think we overrate some of our players and what the value would look like from the team that's trying to buy them. We think we should just up the price. Our most valuable asset we've already sold, which is Emile Smith-Rowe. There's still an air of mystery around him. There's still a season where he scored 10 goals. There's still a little bit of hype around him. So we were able to get a good amount of money for him. There's no hype around Nketiah. There's no hype around Reiss Nelson. And we've left both of those players on the shelf like for a long time. They're like the strawberries at the back of your refrigerator with mold spores on them. We forgot about them. So yeah, I think it just is what it is. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of, I don't think it's that deep. I think 10 million for Reiss Nelson, 25 million for Nketiah, all profit, plus, the 34 million that we're getting for Emile. That's much better than anything Edu has ever done. So I'm going to take that. So yeah, Nostradamus says, not happy with the starting 11 one bit. It's just preseason, and there's no Saliba, there's no Declan, there's no Saka. I don't know, like, what is preseason. Like, there's no reason to be upset about the starting 11. Not really upset. O'Malley says, Forest, Wolves, Everton, or Brentford would do well with Nelson. Let's see if any of them come in for him. Boy says, missed out on getting 50 million for ESR a couple of years ago. Should have sold him for that amount. Saida says, we messed up giving Eddie those high wages. If it wasn't for that, we could have sold him for around 30 million. I agree with you. A fee close to 25 million will be good. Jordan says, I think it's the injuries for Nelson, to be honest. That's the main risk. Fair enough. Adebayi says, the low valuation of 17 million for Nketiah is a reflection of how poor Nketiah is. He can't even start for any top 10 Premier League team. I don't know if I'm feeling that takey about it. I don't know if I feel like he's just so poor. I feel like we could have sold him for more if we had sold him a couple of seasons ago instead of giving him that new deal. I think we would have sold him for more to a Premier League side that would have given us more money for him. I think we've just left him on the shelf for too long, and I don't think Nketiah is like a terrible player. I think he could start for a Premier League side. Maybe you're right about not like any top 10 team, but I don't want to say he's so poor. Like, I don't think he's so poor. So yeah, O'Malley said people getting mad at the fee, but no one in the Prem is willing to pay the English tax for him. So yeah, let's see how all that unfolds, really, with Nketiah and Reiss Nelson. But we've gotten the money for Emile. We're well on the way with Merino. Calafiori is already in the bag, and we have a game ahead. 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 So we have about 3 minutes until we're going to head over to TIFO. So make sure you guys have clicked that link so that we can all watch the game together. I'm about to set up my screen now to make sure that I'm ready to go. And also about to get a couple of little snacks because, listen, I'm not going to watch this game without any snacks. But there's 777 of you guys watching. I know a big chunk of you guys are from the Twitter fam. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this little pre-stream or pre-game stream thingamajiggy. You guys are awake. You guys are awake. Just, yes, like, there's a lot of you guys are awake. Let's do the watch along, man. Like, come on. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. We have time. But my score prediction is going to be like 2-2 because I don't care because it's preseason. And let's see how they do. Like, again, excited by Winery, excited about Miles Lewis-Skelly. Definitely going to be missing Timber, but let's just see how things go. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel on your way out. And I'll just show you guys the watch along so you guys can see it. Here we are on TIFO. You guys can see here. Like I said, there's already people in the chat ready to go. We have 1 minute and 16 seconds. Do not miss out. It's going to be a fun time. Stay up. Stay up a while. Putting the link in there a couple more times just for you guys that are like, where's the link? Where's the link? And for people that are like, what is the code to get in? It's Jessica. It's just my name, Jessica. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.